Further rocket attacks were reported against Nahariya and a minute. Fucking hell. Fuck. Where?
Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. March 19th, 2026. Let's get into it. I always try to help you up front in these videos. Riding out here, not only did I take my life in my hands, I don't know, people are losing their minds. I've never seen a car pulled out over the double yellow line, passed about 10 cars, including me, almost went head on with the car in the other lane. I had to get on the shoulder to let him go by so that he didn't slap into the other car head on. Then yesterday, might have been the day before yesterday, there was a sheriff's vehicle. I've never seen a sheriff's car go this fast. I bet it was going about 100. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, oh my God, had sirens blaring. I don't know what constituted, that sheriff taking his life in his hands, and he had to get through a stoplight. I mean, it was something else to watch. I was like, God almighty, glad I wasn't on the road at that time. Anyway, let's get to how I help you. I'm doing a pickup at Walmart tomorrow, and I tell you, the inflation's already hitting. Beer has jumped $3 a case already, and then of course I like grapefruit juice. That's jumped $3. Now I buy the organic grapefruit juice, not the, ocean spray, which is not very healthy. So yeah, I'm paying a premium for that. There's I forget what it's called, Kimbasha. Anyway, it's a drink that's jumped about $2. So you can see we're just in the beginning of this. Gas is running about $4 a gallon. So my advice to you is stock up. Stock up now. Get out before the sheep learn what's going on. All right? Because if you're watching my video, you're not a sheeple or a sheep. You are a alpha male. I doubt many women watch my videos. So stock up. However you got to do it. I mean, I'm just one dude. But by the time I was done pulling the trigger, and I'm already well stocked, don't get me wrong. I got plenty of Mountain House, but Mountain House gets old after a while. But I spent damn near $400. I mean, for one dude, I can't imagine what a family would spend. But, if you got 1,000, throw it in there now. Buy your gas now, $4 a gallon. We were at $2.95. I believe we are, if you want to know why all this is happening, I think we're in the Great Reset. And they had to burn it all down so that they could, reset the whole financial system. We just went over $39 trillion in debt on the debt clock for the United States. So, and I know that the world is divesting themselves of treasuries. So the only people buying those treasuries are either Americans or the Federal Reserve, or we're just printing money out of the blue, which is going to result in hyperinflation, has to. So, hold on to your jockstraps. This thing's just getting started. Let's see, what else silver. It jumped today, but it was down around 71. I hope you're picking up some, if you can. That's a good price right now. When the Great Reset hits, I bet that silver price is going to jump way up. Of course, I've been saying that for 25 years or whatever, so maybe you don't want to listen to that cybersecurity guy. Oh, before we keep going, hit that like button and subscribe. And also, I highly encourage you to watch me on the Burn channel at Rumble. The Burn channel at Rumble. I'm also posting sometimes on BitChute, the Burn channel on BitChute, or ThatCyberSecurityGuy on X, and ThatCyberSecurityGuy on BitChute, whatever. Because I will tell you this, YouTube's gone back into censorship mode. They just booted Rick Sanchez, who I was a big fan of. I just loved his show. He would bring on Stiles. I don't know if you're familiar with Stiles. He's a military expert, and they would break down what the latest is in Russia or the latest is in the Iran war, and that guy is just sharp as a tack. I mean, he really knows his stuff. Well, because he was in the American military, and now he's serving in the Russian, kind of in the Russian military. He just helps out. He's still a civilian, you know, in Russia. And so he's knowledgeable of everything. So let's get to the war for just a minute. It looks like I told you at the beginning, I was shocked at how many, you know, Tomahawks were getting through without being challenged by the air defenses of Iran. And then I predicted then, I said, well, they're taking these hits intentionally. They're saving those weapons. You know, they're air defense weapons. Because you have to understand, once an air defense weapon cuts on, you know, not only is it targeting something, it becomes a target. And so they should, I mean, smart. I tell you what, the Iranians are running this war extremely smart. I mean, whoever laid out the, well, it was actually the supreme leader who came up with a lot of the war strategy, who I think, I'll tell you what, man, my hat's off to him. I mean, he's been martyred now, but he must have been one smart dude, because, you know, by not getting a nuclear weapon, okay, Iran was ready, because he knew the long-term future of Iran is not nukes, okay? It's getting the Zionist, mad dog Israeli nation out of the Middle East. And that's the only way that Iran was going to achieve security. And if they got a nuclear weapon, that would have been, the war would have been launched a lot sooner. Let's just put it that way. It was coming one way or the other. But because he just stuck with the missile program, you know, he set up Iran perfectly to fight a war and eject Israel. But I'm afraid Israel's going to have to resort to nukes. I don't know if you've seen those new cluster bombs that are raining down on Tel Aviv. I almost puked listening to Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity goes, well, the United States, the difference between us and Iran is we target, you know, military targets, and Iran is targeting civilians. That's the biggest bunch of bullshit. Are the American people that gullible? We just killed 175 little girls. And then, you know, the way they reported in the news, it was an errant missile. Like, oh yeah, so what? We killed 175 kids. It was just an errant missile. Fuck no, it wasn't no damn errant missile. That was a Tomahawk. They're pinpoint accurate, man. That school was targeted. You know, oh my God, these people are so effing stupid. I mean, so anyway, yeah, I'm expecting if YouTube figures out the way I report on things, they're going to nuke my channel. I'm going to tell you that. If you watch me on YouTube, I might be gone at some point. I mean, I'm already shadow banned, so that's, you know, I'm hoping that because I'm just shadow banned, they won't take it, the final step, because I'm just a little fish, and I like being a little fish, because that way I can help people. If you ever become a big fish, you know, then you can get targeted like Rick Sanchez. So anyway, I hope I'm helping you out. Fill that gas tank, stock up now. Anything, I mean, look around the house. Is there anything that you need to replace? A hot water heater, you know, your air conditioning's gotten really old. You know, like I paid for my lawn service for the next year, because when inflation hits, they're gonna wanna charge me more. So if you can pay your bills in advance, pay them in advance. I mean, get ready. This thing, well, number one, it might go nuclear, but it's certainly gone nuclear on the world economy. I tell you what, the people that are gonna really be hurting is Europe. Oh, man, I wouldn't want to visit or be in Europe right now, because if you didn't know, the United States targeted the oil fields of Iran. Now, Iran said, you know, if you do that, we're going to target other people's oil fields. So we hit Iran's oil. Well, we'd already hit their refinery, but now we hit their oil infrastructure. So Iran turned around and hit the liquid natural gas facility in Qatar. Now, if you don't know, that's the largest liquid natural gas facility in the world. That means that Europe ain't getting no liquefied natural gas except for one place, the United States, because they've already cut themselves off from Russia. So, I mean, the Europeans, I tell you what, those people must be sheep, big time sheep, because they're going to be hurting even more than Americans. I mean, we're going to be hurting quite a bit. There's going to be a lot of people who lose their homes. We're probably going to have some starvation here in the United States. You know, especially the people that are living paycheck to paycheck, or, you know, will be losing their jobs. Like I said, I was wondering how they were going to do the Great Reset, and I guess they just decided that just burn the whole world down, and then we can, you know, reset the financial system and bring it back up. And then India sabotaged the BRICS effort. I was hoping that that might come along. You know, that's, if you don't know BRICS, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And, you know, I don't know what happened. Modi lost his mind, or he was snatched by a body snatcher, because I keep saying that, you know, the Trump we elected is not the Trump that's in there now. Not Neo-Caligula, satanic, pedophile, child-eating Trump. That's who we got now. Holy moly. Never seen anything like it. And then Tulsi Gabbard, I think that she's been snatched. I wonder if they got some sort of brainwashing machine in Washington, D.C. that, you know, the CIA comes in and grabs them out of their office and carries them down to this brainwashing machine. But I don't know if you knew Jack Kent. He resigned, or Joe Kent. And boy, I tell you, if you want to watch a good interview, watch him on Tucker Carlson. That is one smart dude. And boy, did he position himself strategically. You know, when this whole thing blows up, everybody's going to look back and say the only person that was honest was Joe Kent. So I imagine if we don't all die soon, that he's going to have a bright political future. And if you didn't know, they're targeting the hell out of him. You know, they're making up all kinds of lies, saying his wife might have been a spy or something, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff. And a lot of it's coming. And I'm very disappointed from Glenn Beck. I mean, what the hell, Glenn Beck? I always kind of liked Glenn Beck, but I don't know. I'm to the point where I might just quit listening to him. You know, I mean, I've been disappointed by so many people. You know, like I've told you in the past, I had already quit listening to Sean Hannity or Mark Levin. Every now and then you got to tune in and see what the enemy is reporting, because I consider them the enemy of the United States. They're just Israel bros getting on the Israel payroll, just like the federal government, just like Donald Trump. You know, he gets all his money from the Israel lobby and the billionaires. So we're going to do a sit-down reading. I'm going to try to see if I can think of, oh yeah, this is another one that gets me. You know, I always talk about this. You know, we all just went through the COVID psyop, right? And if you don't realize that that was a psyop, well, I don't know. I can't help you. You know? But so you would think that the American people would be going, well, you know, they lied to me about everything. So I need to find alternate sources of news and, you know, and see what other people are saying, because obviously we can't believe the mainstream media or the Mockingbird media on anything. And so anyway, I just want to point out, when the war first started, after about 3 days, Trump was saying, yeah, we've knocked out all their missile launchers. We're winning the war. Everything's going great. I mean, you know, the number of missiles are coming down that they're able to launch. Yeah, right. They just did the 66th salvo of missiles. Now, you would think a person with any common sense or critical thought, maybe just Americans don't have critical thought, they would go, well, wait a minute. Just 3 weeks ago, they were saying that Iran was running out of missiles, and now they just did the 66th launch. Doesn't that seem contradictory to you? I mean, if you got any common sense, yes, that's contradictory. And you would think that the people would be going, well, they must be lying to me about a lot of this stuff. You know, wonder what's going on. what's really going on? Oh my God. And then, of course, 3 people are dead. Bullshit. I mean, there's a lot more. But by the way, Netanyahu just came out. By the way, he seems to be alive. If that wasn't, that didn't look like, people aren't reporting on it being an AI. And he said that we're going to do a ground invasion. I don't know how the hell we're going to do a ground invasion, but that's going to bring a lot of American body bags coming back home. I was talking about those air defenses. Well, they shot down 1 F-35. We know that for sure. So that means and they said it was an S-300, which is Russia's older air defense, Russia's on the S-400, using it in Ukraine. I don't know if the Iranians have been provided any of the S-400s, but then reports just came out before I cut the video on that a second F-35 has been shot down. Now, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? I want you to now think about it. What does that tell you? That means we're running out of standoff weapons. Things like Tomahawks or the, what do they call it? The JSAMs that they launch from a distance. So those F-35s, in order to bomb Iranian targets, are having to get close or even enter Iranian airspace. So now all those air defenses that Iran held in reserve, they're coming into action. And so our ability to bomb Iran looks like it's become diminished. Otherwise, we wouldn't be allowing those F-35s to get so close to be, allow them to be shot down. So this thing's gone south for Trump and for the American people. If we're that low on weapons, what the hell are we going to use to defend the homeland? I guess they don't care. Trump don't care about you. By the way, I wrote a song called Trump is a Liar. If the video is not too long, I'll put it at the end of this video, or you can just go to, I put it up on all my channels everywhere. So it's a pretty good song. I liked it a lot. Because the timing was perfect, because Trump's been caught in lie after lie after lie after lie. God, that guy he can lie with the best of them, can he? Lies about everything. And then, what he said about Joe Kent. Oh, I didn't know him, he's, blah, blah, blah. And another disappointment, I may have already said it in the video, Tulsi Gabbard. She should have resigned also. That would have been a hell of a statement, because she's been sidelined anyway. But no, she towed the line and stayed in the Trump administration. That's why I said, I'm wondering if she was body snatched or had a brain, somebody, I don't know what they did to her. All right, well, we're going to do a little sit down. We're going to talk about things. I'm on my way to the picnic table. Unfortunately, I got a late start. It's going to get dark. It's a little bit chilly here in Florida, but still a beautiful day. I got to get to work on the garden, so I keep telling you I'm not going to be making that many videos. Well, yeah, let's, before we do the sit down, let's talk about the video studio for just 1 second. Because I got to spend some time on it last night. And so my notes, as far as installing the browsers, worked perfectly. I mean, I cleaned up, I'm still cleaning up my book that I'm going to be publishing here in a couple of months, once everything is done. But, if you didn't know, you need 4 browsers in Windows and Linux, okay? You got Opera, which has a VPN built in, so that's a good thing. You got to have Google Chrome, because Riverside, if you want to conduct an interview with somebody over the internet, runs on Google Chrome. So you got to have that browser. Otherwise, I wouldn't install it. It just spies on you. And then, of course, Firefox comes with Linux Mint 22.3. And the last one is LibreWolf. And that's just a very privacy-oriented browser that you can get. And then, of course, there's Brave. And so a lot of these don't go on real straightforward in Linux Mint. Google Chrome was easy. You just download the DEB file and run it, and it installs. Same with Opera. Opera was easy. Brave was a bit more complex. All right, so we got the browsers going. I installed some software. I got Vim on there. If you don't know, Vim is the extension of the VI editor. And I put on NeoVim. I got that installed. If you don't know, Neo is the latest rendition of, it's called graphical, and then of course there's graphical Vim. And so now the next step, while I was getting ready to install DaVinci Resolve, and my notes were so convoluted, I couldn't follow my own damn notes. So I had to go back to Grok and say, look, man, let's rethink this. You know, is this still valid? Is that still valid? Because I got DaVinci Resolve running in Linux Mint 22.1, but the steps for 22.3 are slightly different. And I'm not sure, even now, I don't think my notes are correct. So now I know sounds crazy. I'm just crying on your shoulder. I got to install Linux Mint on an old server and then follow my directions for getting DaVinci Resolve installed and see if it works. And then if it does, you know, then I can put it onto the main server. I don't want to, pardon my French, F up the main server. So that's going to be a big project, just to load Linux Mint on the old server and get it running and everything like that. I've got it already hooked up to a monitor, so it's not going to be that big a deal, but it's going to take me a couple of days. I hate this, man. It's like one step forward, two steps back. Anything else? I guess that's about it. We'll get the sit-down portion, and then we'll, you know, I'm going to do a short sit-down version. Well, maybe we'll just do a stand-up, because I think it's going to get dark. I'm not sure I'm going to be, because if you didn't know, it's a long hike to get to that picnic table and to be a long hike back. I don't like being out here deep in the forest when it's dark. You know, if you're approaching the car, you know, if you're about let's say a mile from the car, you know, that's no big deal. I don't mind being a mile from the car, but when you're out here about 3 miles deep into the forest, you know, that's a whole different story. I don't even know if there's bear in here. I imagine there is. All I've seen are deer. I had never seen a bear here. All right, we'll get to the reading here in just a sec. Can you see him? We got a deer. There he goes. All right, that was cool. All right, on my way to the picnic table, I'm just going to hit the front part. But we found a whole new trail. I can't wait to come back and do this. I mean, look at here. This is pretty cool. Sorry about the crunch of the leaves, but this looks like a really pretty hike. Oh my gosh. I wonder, well, every time I find a new trail, I always say, I wonder where it goes. All right, let's turn around and get back to that picnic table, but I just wanted to show you this. This is cool. Let's get the picnic table portion of the video out of the way. Shoot, so the question was asked, why do you go out so late? Why not just get out here earlier? Well, good question. Number one, I like to hike in the evening. I don't like hiking in the dark, and it is definitely going to get dark on the way back, but I don't know. I just like coming to this table to rest for just a minute. Anyway, the reason it happens is I have a policy that, because I'm just one guy, I don't have a cleaning service. So I don't come out to do a hike until the water is stocked in the fridge, because I have a water pitcher and a bunch of Yeti mugs. We iced up water so that when I get home, I don't have to do that chore. The floors have got to be vacuumed. The laundry's got to be done. The dishes got to be done. In other words, the general maintenance around the house has to be completed. And then sometimes if I get up early enough, I'll take on a big project. Like, I don't want to gross you out, but the toilet, I need to take the toilet apart and clean it really, really well. And that'll take me a couple hours. And then like yesterday, I was doing the shoes. You know, when you're coming out hiking, the shoes get really dirty over time. And so once a month, I have to take the shoes into the laundry tub and wash them. And that's usually a big project. And then, of course, you know, redust them. And then, of course, I've got about 10 pairs of shoes. So then I swap those shoes into the closet and pull out another, you know, these are new. I got another month on these shoes right here. All right, so we'll get into a couple of these posts. I don't know who Sprinter Press is. He put out a post that he wasn't going to be posting no more, but he's continuing to post. So this is, America will have to leave the Middle East. The Western Empire is collapsing. Hexit. We destroyed Iranian ports and submarines. Johnson. Israel is now effectively blind to Iranian missiles. The Iranian military attacked the Israeli Ministry of National Security, announcing it was revenge for the killing of the head of the Iranian intelligence service, Ismail Hatib. Former CIA analyst Larry Johnson, neither the Israelis nor the U.S. have the anti-missiles capable of intercepting Iranian ballistic and cruise missiles. Iran has disabled American radars in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, and Jordan, that's for sure. And I've reported on this in past videos. Let's get past this one. Sometimes they just repeat the same old news. Maybe new news to you, but doesn't hurt to read it. This is Sprinter Press again. Iran attacked Israeli aircraft tankers at the Ben Gurion airport in 4 cities. The Pentagon will request more than $200 billion from the U.S. Congress to continue the war against Iran. They're doing that on the backdrop of just crossing $39 trillion in debt. I guess you can just print money out of thin air forever, and it just magically grows on trees. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced selected targets in Acre, A-C-R-E, Haifa, Tel Aviv, and Beersheba were destroyed by powerful missiles. All American bases in the region were attacked for the 3rd consecutive time by powerful missiles with multiple warheads and precision-guided drones. Bases in Ali Salem, Victoria, H-A-R-J, Harj, Al-Udeid, Al-Drafa, Al-Zara, A-Z-R-A-Q, as well as the 5th Fleet and the Iranian bases were under strike. Iranian Army spokesman Mohad Arakmini, sorry, I'm butchering all this stuff, man. In the coming days, we'll use new weapons against the United States and Israel. Yeah, like I said, they're on the 66th volley. American sheep, they're running out of missiles, all right. Yeah, the American sheep believe everything the government tells them. Energy war. Qatar is again at the center of the great game. Everyone is writing about the strike on the largest Qatari LNG export hub. And then the dance begins. The Emir of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad, urgently contacts Donald Trump. The response, a public Trump tweet with no visible actions. Trump don't care. This is about burning down the Middle East, man. That's what I was telling you. This is the Great Reset. So unfortunately, these Arab leaders, they don't realize what's happening. I don't know, but yeah, we're burning it all down. The illusion Doha believed it begins to collapse and that it could simultaneously build relations with Iran and count on U.S. support. Israel struck facilities in Iran at the Bashir province and the industrial city of Aslura, the main hub where gas from the South Pars is processed and distributed across the country. This is a huge gas reservoir under the waters of the Persian Gulf, shared with Qatar, and is part of the North Field. South Pars for Iran is not just a deposit. It's 70% of the gas for life of Iranian cities, hospitals, factories. Not only vital infrastructure was attacked, but the very ability of the state to perform its basic functions. After killing Lajani, you don't know who he was. He was kind of I don't know if you could call him like the second in command. Evidently, he was a scholar, a very smart dude. Huge loss for Iran. And he was out just walking in the open. I mean, maybe he wanted to be martyred. I mean, some of these people, just don't mind getting killed. I mean, but yeah, he wasn't hiding, that's for sure. And Israel, they figured out where he was. Leaving homes without electricity and heating is the obvious attempt by Israel to fuel protest. For this reason, Iran reacted very sharply to attack and striking the Qatari Ras Laffan, the largest global cluster for liquefied natural gas production. Half of the world's energy systems comes through it, primarily Europe. These fires burned so intensely that they were extinguished with the full power of Qatar's industry. The Qatar Energy confirmed the damage is significant. Prices rose again. Brent crude jumped over $110 a barrel. European gas by 8%. Total increase through the start of the war is 80% in Europe. It seems that Europe is now being drawn into the war, which all the time has avoided Trump's proposals to participate in a convoy of ships to open the Strait of Hormuz. One more thing. For some reason, the spirit of the old project, the gas pipeline from Qatar to Turkey through Syria, is not mentioned. It was called one of the reasons for the civil war in former Syria. The idea originated back in the late 2000s. Qatar wanted to pump gas to Europe, bypassing Russia. The pipe was supposed to pass through Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Syria, but Assad refused. Today, after 15 years of war, it does not exist. Syria is under the control of the new forces loyal to Turkey and Qatar. Doha is already entering the Syrian economy. This will be the last reading. I know this is long. Agreements on the gas pipelines and power plant construction worth billions of dollars were signed last summer. The logic of this war suggests, in the context of the Hormuz blockade, Qatar will return to the old idea of the pipeline. Now, no one will say no, and Turkey, which controls northern Syria, will become the transit country. Old maps of much more expensive alternate route. You can also see northern Lebanon. What a coincidence. A war is being waged to destroy the pro-Iranian Hezbollah. Like Assad wants, it will be a break on the project's path, and to get rid of Hezbollah once and for all, the new Syrian authorities are being offered this openly. It will be a slaughter, but with someone else's hands. The U.S. in any case will not allow gas to go a bypass route that threatens their interest, because whoever controls the pipe holds Europe on a short leash. Qatari gas is the global market, and Americans are direct competitors here. Currently, they partially supplied Europe with their LNG, while Qatar's export through the Straits of Hormuz was blocked. Building a pipeline is not a quick thing, but if the project is renewed, America will place its operator. I don't think we're going to be in the Middle East much longer. This is, we'll do two more, because I wanted to get to, if you didn't know, Israel's killed just about every reporter over there, and they just tried to kill Steve Sweeney, and we'll get to that post next. But I thought this was a good post by Health Ranger. Definitely follow him on X. He's got good posts, man. I believe we are standing on the precipice of the most profound international collapse of human civilization in recorded history. The trigger isn't a meteor, a supervolcano, or even a world war in the traditional sense. It's the potential destruction of a single industrial facility, the Ras Laffan liquefied natural gas complex in Qatar. Modern civilization doesn't run on energy. It's fundamentally architected on steady, massive flow of natural gas. Super cold and shipped as LNG. This isn't an abstraction. Our global food supply, our industrial chemical production, and the very stability of nations are tethered to this flow. That's why I was telling you, stock up, man. Stock up. That tether is frighteningly thin. Qatar's Ras Laffan is the heart of the system, the nexus of technology and geography that is effectively irreplaceable. Its 14-year preceding trains and critical main cryogenic heat exchangers, MCHEs, that chill the gas to negative 260 degrees Fahrenheit are marvels of engineering. Single point of failure, as noted in the energy literature. The specialized machinery for this process is made by only one or a handful of companies globally. This infrastructure isn't just important, it is singular. It is a loss that its loss would not be a temporary market disruption. It would be a decade-long severing of the global energy artery. The recent deliberate sabotage of critical infrastructure like the Nord Stream pipelines has shown us that such attacks are not theoretical. They are tools of geopolitical warfare. When you understand that over half the world's food depends on fertilizer made from natural gas, the picture becomes horrifyingly clear. We've built a world of astonishing abundance on a foundation of shocking fragility. One facility in one region now holds the key to whether billions eat or starve. 2 of Qatar's 14 LNG trains have now been destroyed. The rebuild time is 3 to 5 years. If all 14 are destroyed, 25 to 50% of the world's current population will starve. Hell of a post. And I wanted to get, this will be the last one. And then I got to get back. Today, Israel tried to kill me in a targeted airstrike in southern Lebanon. As I was reporting on the target into bridges and the forced displacement of 1 million people. If you didn't know, Israel, after ethnically cleansing Gaza, they're doing the same to Lebanon right now. And they're just killing all the civilians there. I have absolutely no doubt that this was deliberate. Despite claims there were no warnings ahead of the strike, no notification sent to the Lebanese army who allowed us to film. As we have seen in Gaza, they want to silence journalists who document and report their war crimes. In the Western powers who provide political and military support for Israel, are arming it to the teeth, carry out the genocide in Gaza, the ethnic cleansing here in Lebanon. They are not simply complicit, but active participants and should be held accountable for their actions. But if Israel thinks today's strike will silence us, keep us out the field, they're very, very mistaken, and we got a video here. And I'll see, I haven't got it bookmarked. I'll see if I can find the video of when he was attacked. It was a close call, and by the way, they did have to pull some shrapnel out of him. I'm not sure if his cameraman survived or not. All right, that's it for the video. Peace out, stay free. We'll see how long it is. Maybe I get the song here. If not, you can always listen to the song.
I guess so. Yeah, well, you've probably all seen the footage of the airstrike that took place in Sur District as we were reporting on the destruction of a bridge. We've been treated in hospital for our injuries. I had a shrapnel wound in my arm, deeply embedded in the muscle here. That's been taken out, and here it is in this pot here. But what I do want to say is that this was a deliberate, targeted attack on journalists. There's no mistake about it. This was an Israeli precision strike from a fighter jet. What we were doing was we were reporting on the attacks on bridges, which is effectively severing South Lebanon from the rest of the country. 1 million people now internally displaced. This is the real story. It's not about us coming under attack as journalists. What we're seeing now and what we were reporting on is this plan for Israel to ethnically cleanse the south of Lebanon. This is without doubt an attack. This is on the scale or bigger than the scale of the Nakba. This is the forced displacement of 1 million people, which remains a war crime. And also we have to say that attacking journalists is a war crime. Attacking civilian infrastructure is a war crime. But if they think that they're going to silence us, if they think that we're going to stay out of the field, they're very, very much mistaken.
We were on the way back, and this is a pretty portion of the trail, so I thought I'd get some more thoughts out. You know, one thing that has baffled me is how come there hasn't been any pushback from the Pentagon on this ill-advised war, let's just put it that way. You know, you would think somebody in the top brass, well, other than Joe Kent, you know, so we have had one person resign, but other than that, and also there's a story, and it's been cross-referenced that must be true, was that the sailors on the USS Ford set fire to, they want to see the laundromat, and they call it just, and so I guess, because they've been out at sea, if you didn't know, they've been out, they were, you know, Kerry's only supposed to go out like on a 6-month tour or something. They're approaching a damn near a year at sea. Imagine being away from your family, your children, you know, everything for almost a year at sea, fighting one war after another because they were just down in Venezuela and now they're over in the Middle East. Well, anyway, the story is that they set fire to something. And right now, the Ford is limping into port for repairs. And I think they either know who set the fire or they're looking for them because they want to prosecute them for doing that. But so you do see the military pushing back just a little bit on this. You know, of course, don't mention the fact we're no longer a constitutional republic. I mean, we have an emperor, Emperor Trump. You know, I'm just surprised the American people are going along with this. You know, Congress, we might as well not even have a Congress. You know that Congress is the sole arbiter of being able to declare war. And, you know, they just rubber stamped it. Yeah, go to war, Trump. Of course, they were all for it. They probably would have voted to go to war anyway, even though Iran hadn't attacked us. I'd like to point that out to you. You do as I understand this is a war for Israel. It has nothing to do with the United States. Trump don't give a crap about you and me or anything. But, and by the way, he's made Kushner and his family, I'm hearing wild numbers. Witkoff, they've made a fortune. Trump is the mafia boss. he's made a shitload of money, man. I tell you what, and his whole family is getting rich off of all of this. So you can see this is about wealth. It's about the donors. It's about the Israeli lobby. And it's most of all a war for Israel. All right, but I thought that Henry Ford story was interesting. You know, so at least some of the sailors are pushing back on this war. But I hope somebody at the Pentagon will say something, because, you know, we got to be seriously getting low on weapons to defend the United States. You know, if something happens and we get attacked, we're screwed, man. The only good news, I always try to I tell you this all the time, you know, there's always a good way to look at things. Because I think there's going to be, when the sheep learn what's been done to them, you know, and the prices double, triple, quadruple, you know, there's going to be unrest in the streets. And since, you know, we're getting low on weapons, the good news is when Trump turns the military on the American people, and I do believe he will, they're getting low on weapons. So they've only got so many to hit Americans with, you know, to kill Americans. So that's a kind of a good way to look at it, you know, because I do believe we'll have military on the streets here before too long, probably within the next year, maybe less. We'll see. Like I said, once the sheep wake up, it's going to be chaos. Go. Stock up now. Stock up now. You know, we got two new breaking stories on the way back here. Still got a little light left. It's definitely be dark, but the one is, Russia just told the United States to F off. There will be no more negotiations. So they're going to stop Ukraine into the dust. So I guess they've had enough of Witkoff lies and Kushner. So there will be no more negotiation. The great Emperor Trump won't be negotiating with Putin no more. So the other story that was crazy was Israel threatened a decapitation strike on Russia. I mean, that's insane. They said because of Russia's help with Iran, that they're going to try to kill Russian senior generals and anybody they can get high up in the hierarchy. So their assassinations around the world continue. So just amazing. And then this is a crazy story. I haven't cross-referenced this, but Mario Nawfal just reported on it. He gets his information from a variety of sources usually. But he says Iran just launched a new missile. It's a ballistic missile. It's insane. It goes all the way up to the edge of the atmosphere, flips, and comes back down with the warhead comes back down, traveling at 17,500 miles an hour, or Mach 20. And it maneuvers. It's impossible to hit. And with that much kinetic energy, you don't even need a warhead on. That's kind of like the Oreshnik. I guess it's Iran's equivalent, or the Oreshnik. So Israel, man, well, this is what I was talking about early on in the video. You know, this is a brilliant plan by Iran not to have a nuclear weapon. If they had gone for a nuclear weapon, the war would have started a lot sooner. And I guarantee you they wouldn't have the technology that they've got now on these missiles. So by not going nuclear, they were able to stall long enough to get their missile stockpile ready for the war. But this new thing, man, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end. Those American bases, they're about to get vaporized, man. Oh my God, I'm not laughing, you know. I can't stand seeing Americans come home in body bags with Trump. You remember what he said? Well, that's just the nature of war. I tell you what, that is one evil bastard we've got for an emperor. Unbelievable. All right, well, I just thought those were three stories that were interesting. That new missile on top of the list, but just the fact that Russia's going to finish off Ukraine. You know, a lot of people have forgotten. Now that we're all bogged down in the Middle East, Trump can't give no weapons to Ukraine. So Ukraine is going to be quickly running out and money. I don't think he's giving any more money to Ukraine. So we've completely, as a country, abandoned Ukraine, which is a good thing. You know, let's get that war over with. And I didn't want U.S. taxpayer money going to Ukraine anyway. But I wanted even less going to Israel. But anyway, one more at a time. Well, I'm getting pretty pumped. wouldn't say we're almost back, but we're getting close. I think I don't even have to put the headlamp on. So it was a good thing we made that video at the picnic table. I just want to finish the video off right here with a little piece of advice. And this was what I did throughout my life, because I just heard an advertisement on the radio for LifeLock. Okay, and I'm not saying LifeLock's a bad idea. You do what you do, you. But they were talking about somebody fraudulently filing your tax return to get the money you get back from the government. If you're getting money back by filing a tax return, you're doing something wrong, man. You need to talk to a tax specialist, okay? Because that you're literally loaning the government money to get it back at the end of the year, okay? You should be paying the government money when you file your tax return. Not a lot, there are limits on that, but yeah, if you're not, money's not coming out of your pocket when you file your tax return, you're doing something wrong.
Empire burns, eyes from above.
Trump is nothing but a liar.
His words are worth less than burnt out tires.
His war on Iran is getting tired.
Promise quick win, now it's mired.
Oil slicks, body bags, empire expired.
Little excursion, he's a liar.
All eyes ghosted, NATO retired. Straight blocked, prices fired. Higher, higher. Talks in the shadows, handshakes spread. Diplomacy dead, buried in the blast.
Geneva talks, then strikes come fast.
Twice he betrayed, knife in the back.
Emperor Trump, diplomacy sad.
Liar, liar, war on fire. Empire's liar. The world's getting tired. Omen tables, Geneva glow. Mediators say deals in flow. Uranium capped, verification go. Then February 28, bunkers blow.
Khamenei dust, leadership low.
Progress reported, then epic fury show.
Twice mid-talk, same deceitful flow.
June 25 nukes, ego blow.
Peace through strength, strength through lies.
From while they speak, watch alliances die. Chinese orbits, Russian eyes in the sky. Jill and scant canopus reveals the lie. Pentagon hides the craters, the smoke, the cries. But satellites broadcast the truth they deny. Bases in Qatar, Kuwait, struck and scarred. Damage exposed, no more
Joe Kent quits, counter-terror chief, no more resigns today.
corpse in Persian sand. One hand shakes, the other grips the brand. Emperor's throne on broken plans. Eyes from above, watch it all expand. No trust, no table, just ashes and demands. Enough! Diplomacy dead, buried in the blast.
Twice betrayed, future collapsed.
Emperor Trump, world on fire. Liar, 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 empire's fire. The world's getting tired.
Burn time smoke on the road to hell.
Lies cheap, tolling the bell. Trump the liar. Empire fell.